Despicable Me is a film that charmed us from beginning to end. How could you not love it? A villain whose life is completely changed when he builds a family. We get to go on a journey watching this unconventional family grow. Plus, there are minions. Oh yes, and lots of them. Now the third installment of the franchise is about to be released, and we have the inside scoop for you regarding all things Despicable Me 3. Before we get started, don't forget to click that subscribe button and join our notification squad. The minions are here too, so join in on the fun.
All was not lost, for one minion had a plan. His name was Kevin.
There will be a new minion. Since the release of the first Despicable Me film, it seems like almost anything that people were talking about was one thing. They're cute, yellow, and round. Yep, they're the Minions. They took over everything, and before we knew it, there was yellow everywhere. So much so that they even received their own spin-off film dedicated solely to them. However, with the upcoming release of Despicable Me 3, we wonder how they could revamp our beloved Minions. And will they be able to turn the haters into fans? How about a revolution? Well, aside from the three main Minions who follow Gru around and help him see his evil plan to fruition, it seems like there's a new Minion in town stirring up some trouble. He goes by the name of Mel, and he is not happy about the Minions having to be nice all the time. Gru has turned to the good side, but the Minions have villainy imprinted in their DNA. They want to be evil, and Mel is the voice of reason. Enough is enough. But just how far will this revolt go? We'll have to wait and see. A new villain. There's no way a movie that centers around a villain protagonist wouldn't have some great villains. The first Despicable Me starred Gru as the main baddie, of course. However, Gru's nemesis was the geeky villain Vector, who was not scary but rather comical. In Despicable Me 2, the villain was El Macho, who technically brought Gru and Lucy together, so it wasn't all bad, right? In the Minions solo film, the main villain was Scarlet Overkill, who was pretty awesome in her own right. But this time around, there's a new bad guy in town. Don't worry, it's not a monster, it's just a man wearing shoulder pads. It's someone whose fashion sense is extremely dated. Balthazar Bratt. He's voiced by South Park co-creator Trey Parker. He loves Rubik's Cubes, mixtapes, bubblegum, fingerless gloves, and of course, the iconic music of Michael Jackson. We think this will definitely inspire some of us to revisit this era. But what makes him evil? Well, for one, he's stealing a massive pink diamond. We can't wait to see what other evil plans this stylish villain has in store.
My heart is a tooth, and it's got a cavity that can only be filled with children. I'm sorry.
Gru has a twin brother. In one of the trailers, Gru's mom reveals that she and her husband had twin boys. When they split up, each one took a son, and now, voila! It's also revealed that his twin brother is very rich and successful, and much to Gru's dismay, has a full head of beautiful blonde hair. Drew tries to convince Gru to do one more heist and says that they should be supervillains together. He pulls out all the stops, telling him villainy runs in their blood and even showing him all the cool gadgets he has. It's not until Drew presents the super cool villain outfits that Gru seems completely interested. We totally understand, the perfect outfit can make all the difference. Drew is the opposite of Gru in almost every sense. He's light, silly, and funny. Even visually, his clothes are white and his mansion is bright and more colorful than Gru's was. Gru is definitely the more serious twin. You'll be glad to know that Steve Carell also voices Drew. We can't wait to see him have a conversation between himself. Carell is a master of comedy, so we know it'll be hilarious.
I just wanted to congratulate you on stealing the pyramid. That was you, wasn't it? Or was it a villain who's actually successful?
Eminem is featured on the soundtrack. One of our favorite things about the Despicable Me franchise has been its awesome and catchy soundtrack. Because who doesn't love good music, right? We know we do. The films have definitely incorporated pop-leaning hip-hop and R&B throughout the films. Producer, artist, and megastar Pharrell Williams was behind the music of the first Despicable Me film. The song Happy even won an Academy Award. To add to the awesome soundtrack so far, the Despicable Me 3 official trailer features none other than rapper extraordinaire Eminem. The song So Bad is off his 2010 album Recovery and can be heard popping in at different points in the trailer, making it trailer-perfect amounts of epic. especially the scenes with minions in them. Eminem is also technically featured before in another trailer. In the second official trailer, Dr. Dre's hit song What's the Difference features Xzibit and Eminem. With the track record of awesome songs in their prior films, we can't wait to hear what Illumination has in store with this film. We think their choices for the trailers has been pretty solid so far.
I've got it! I've got the moon!
Despicable DNA. We know that Gru has a twin brother named Drew. However, when it comes to long-lost twin brothers, we can't help but wonder if it's the truth. Sure, in real life, cloning might not be a thing yet, but in cartoon world we can speculate, right? Well, at the very least, wouldn't you be a bit curious as to your family lineage? Especially if, like Gru, your twin brother has a full head of beautiful hair and you are totally bald? Well, a DNA testing company called 23andMe has teamed up with Despicable Me to create a brilliant marketing campaign for their DNA testing kits. It makes complete sense. This long-lost twin brother scenario is definitely bound to make some kids curious about DNA and traits, right? So naturally, this makes sense. Their website features Gru's genetic journey and shows the features 23andMe offers. We learn about Gru's ancestry and traits as we see in the trailer. The movie makes us curious about ancestry and traits, so why not check out your own? This marketing is absolutely brilliant. They built a profile totally around Gru, detailing his ethnic background and even how he has an 81% chance of losing his hair before age 40, which we totally know happened.
Oh, good luck, little girl.
Wow. Cool.
Award-winning cast. When a film series is about to release their third installment, has a spin-off and a sequel to that spin-off planned to release, we can safely bet that it's a pretty successful franchise. Despicable Me 2 has cute characters, a touching story arc involving a reformed villain, adorable kids, minions, and more minions. Plus, add in an awesome and catchy soundtrack and you have gold, right? Yes, however, let's not forget the awesome cast that voices some of our favorite characters. Can you guess what Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, Trey Parker, Steve Coogan, and Pierre Coffin have in common? If you guessed Despicable Me, then you're totally right. But they have something else and much more prestigious in common. All 5 of these cast members have been Academy Award nominated. Steve Coogan, who plays Silas in Despicable Me 2, was nominated for Best Writing in an Adapted Screenplay for Philomena. Steve Carell was nominated for Best Actor in Foxcatcher. Kristen Wiig was nominated for Best Original Screenplay for Bridesmaids. Trey Parker was nominated for Best Original Song, Blame Canada. And Pierre Coffin was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film of the Year for Despicable Me 2. With a team like this, there's no way to lose, right?
Come this way with me. Come on. Come on.
Uncanny connection. When we think of kids' movies and child-friendly cartoons, our first thoughts are definitely not South Park. The long-running show is known for its crude animation and even cruder language and sense of humor. Co-creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone are also not known for being the most child-friendly creators. However, Trey Parker now has been cast in his first child-friendly role ever. He's playing 80s-obsessed evil villain Balthazar Bratt. We'll admit, we are pretty excited about this villain and his cool bubblegum weapon. Well, what if we told you that it was more of a link between South Park and Despicable Me than just Trey Parker? Would you believe us? Shockingly, there is another connection, and it's not what you'd expect. Any guesses? Well, Trey Parker and Matt Stone's South Park movie, South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, was released on June 30th, 1999. Nothing shocking there, right? The release date for the new Despicable Me 3 film is, you guessed it, June 30th, 2017. The films are released 18 years apart. We wonder if this is a coincidence or some sort of homage to Trey Parker and his work. What do you think?
Get back in the kitchen.
Will you play with us?
No,
Why?
because I'm busy.
Agnes gets a new voice. Aside from the very adorable minions in the film, we have the 3 adorable sisters, Edith, Margot, and Agnes. All 3 girls are adorable in their own right, but Agnes definitely holds a special place in our hearts. Her voice is perfect, but can you imagine anyone else voicing her? Well, we can't, but that's gonna have to change for a very simple fact. In the animated films, the girls don't age much, but in real life, the voice actresses who play them do. The youngest, of course, is Agnes, who is played by Elsie Fisher in the first 2 Despicable Me films. But her youthful voice has aged, as has she. It's a natural part of life. So naturally, she can't play Agnes, who hasn't aged as much as she has. Agnes is now going to be voiced by actress Nev Sherrill. From a couple of trailers where we hear Agnes speak a few words, we think she's going to do a fantastic job. Minion voices. Aside from being very visually adorable, one of the things that makes Minions very endearing is their language. They're always talking in their garbled and seriously adorable language. But what are they saying? Their language is a mix of several different ones and of course some gibberish. Each minion has their own personality, and there are hundreds of them. Let's also not forget the evil minions. So how many different voice actors did they have portraying these little guys? Well, we know that Dave, Stuart, and Bob are the main minions that are always by Gru's side. So we assume that at least those three are voiced by 3 different actors that work to give them their fun personalities. But nope, this is not the case. All 3 are actually voiced by the film's director, Pierre Coffin. As a voice artist, that's pretty impressive, right? But get this, he's also the voice for all the other minions. Every single one, including the evil minions. Now that's pretty talented, don't you think? Voice acting as hundreds of different characters and he's directing the film? How cool is that?
A mall.
Precisely. And we believe that one of these shop owners is a master criminal. And that's where you come in.
Gru turns back to the dark side. If you've been keeping up with the timeline, Gru has given up his villainous ways. He's a retired villain and he's a father now after all and is married to Lucy of the Anti-Villain League. So needless to say, the days of villainy are long gone, right? The minions definitely seem to think so. They long for the days of villainy and are tired of being good. So much so that one of them rises up and starts a revolt. Mel is one of the new main minions taking a stand. But if you see the trailer, you'll see that once Gru meets his brother, he's tempted to return once again to the dark side. We understand old habits are totally hard to break, especially since Gru's twin brother Drew tells him villainy runs in their family. He gives Gru a tour of his super fancy villain mansion and even presents him with matching black and white sleek outfits. In another scene, Lucy even comes in and catches the twins and asks them if they're both villains now. Could this be the return of Gru's old ways? And maybe even a new supervillain duo consisting of the twin brothers? Maybe, especially with those cool matching outfits and Drew being so convincing.
I developed a new formula which allowed me to get every known kind of berry into one flavour of jelly.
So, now that you know a little bit more about the new Despicable Me 3 film, are you excited? What are you most excited about? What's your new favorite thing you found out about? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know if we missed anything. While you're here, don't forget to like and share our video. And don't forget to subscribe and check out our videos in the CBR playlist. As always, thanks for watching.